Anticipation is building in Gaza for new deliveries of humanitarian aid after a deal between Israel and Hamas. The agreement, brokered by Qatar and France, is a breakthrough following weeks of negotiations between the warring sides. Now, aid will leave Qatar for Egypt before being taken across the Rafah border crossing. Under the deal, medication will be delivered to Israeli hostages in return for additional medicine and aid being sent for Palestinian civilians in Gaza. This is the first known agreement between the two sides since the collapse of a week-long truce back in November. More than 120 hostages are believed to still be held in Gaza. Meantime, on the ground, Israeli forces stepped up strikes in the south of Gaza. Airstrikes and artillery were heard in the city of Khan Yunis overnight. Reports say that the troops are moving towards its largest hospital, forcing patients as well as displaced Gazan residents to flee the compound. More than a dozen people were killed following Israeli strikes in Khan Yunis and Rafah. The enclave's health ministry reported that at least 163 people were killed in the past 24 hours, pushing the death toll up to more than 24,400 people. The Israeli army says that it killed a top Palestinian militant in an airstrike on Balata refugee camp that's in occupied West Bank. He was accused of planning to carry out a large-scale attack with his cell members. And meanwhile, at least 4 others were killed in an Israeli strike in Tulkarem refugee camp. For more on this, Sarah Coates joins us. She's live for us from Tel Aviv. Sarah, put some clarity to this if you can. Israel says that it's scaled down operations in northern Gaza, yet we do have reports as well on the ground of fighting intensifying. What's the latest there?
Hello there, Dawn. Well, yes, look, according even to the Defence Minister, Yoav Gallant, he came out to say that the intensive phase in this northern part of the Gaza Strip is over and that the IDF is now moving to more targeted strikes. And this is exactly what we have seen just over the past few hours, the IDF releasing a statement saying that in Gaza City, the troops noticed 2 Hamas fighters running and they then conducted an airstrike on these 2 operatives. And look, this is something that we could be seeing more of. We've heard also from the Institute for the Study of War. It's come out to say that Palestinian militias are likely to be infiltrating the northern parts of the Gaza Strip that the IDF thought were cleared. And this is something that, as I said, we may see going forward. Now, as you mentioned, heavy fighting also down in the south. We're talking here Rafah, where many people are sheltering, and also in Khan Yunis. We've just heard from Jordan. It has issued a statement, its military, saying that Israel is being accused of a flagrant breach of international law, with the overnight shelling really damaging one of its field hospitals there. Now, Dawn, according to sources on the ground inside the Gaza Strip, Israeli tanks and troops are almost surrounding the Nasser hospital, that is in Khan Yunis. And look, according to the Israeli military, this is where a rocket was fired from a little earlier this week, targeting Israeli troops. The IDF released a statement a little earlier yesterday speaking about the situation at hospitals, saying that Hamas operates systematically in hospitals in the Strip, using the civilian population as human shields and exploiting hospital infrastructure. But look, this Nasser hospital is where around 7,000 people are sheltering. And we do need to remember there are around 2 million internally displaced people right now down in this Rafah area, and people simply, as we've been saying time and time again, have nowhere to go, Dawn.
Meantime, Sarah, there is some growing optimism about another hostage for prisoner swap. Both sides agreeing to this deal to provide medicine to Gazans as well as captives in the enclave. What's the progress on that front?
Well, look, we just heard a line from the US National Security spokesperson John Kirby regarding a potential prisoner swap. He has come out to say that the US envoy Brett McGurk, he is right now in Qatar for intensive talks. He's called them intensive discussions on a prisoner swap deal is underway. He wouldn't elaborate any further, but he said that we are hopeful it will bear fruit and bear fruit soon. But look, with regards to this delivery of medicine, we do know that this Doha aircraft. This aircraft from Qatar has landed at the Al Arish air base that is in Egypt. We do know that initially there were reports that Israel would be inspecting the shipment of not only medicine for Palestinians, but also for 45 captives. But it has now been revealed that Israel will not inspect this shipment at all. Now, we've heard from a senior Hamas spokesperson. He said that for every one box of medicine for these 45 captives, there'll be 1,000 boxes of medicine for these hospitals inside the Gaza Strip. So it will be certainly very interesting to see how this plays out throughout the day and how all of this aid and medicine is delivered, Dawn.
Sarah, thank you for that update. Sarah Coates there in Tel Aviv.